Hello, welcome to this week's transits. And today we start on the equinox. Wow. And I have our chart queued up to it. And we can see it is at 11, I have 11:29 Eastern Daylight Time. And here you can see the sun is just at 000 Aries. It just clicks into it. So a little bit before, and it's not. Let's just go by minute. It's just fun. Let's see when it actually goes. Let's go when it actually hits. Let's see. It, okay. 11:06 is at the last second or last minute. So it's 11:07 Eastern Daylight Time. All right. That's when it actually moves to zero. So it floats in there a little bit before it goes to the 01. So you can see, like, in a birth time, how, what did I start that on? 11:20 something? That could be a few minutes before it really changes, the degree. So, like, look at this one. I mean, it goes back, we can go back minutes. Look at a whole bunch of still at 59, and we've gone back. There we go, gone back now, 59, 59. But just to see that, how I mean, everything's moving a little bit, but it's just so funny how sometimes it's just so crucial. So anyway, here's our equinox. And, we start this week also with the moon going into a fire sign. Moon went into Leo earlier in the day, and then the sun later in the day moves into Aries. So that's nice that the equinox, it actually kicks off with a nice trine, that the sun and moon are trine. That's nice, so I don't know. I just kind of put that out there because we have these two eclipses coming up, this year. They're kind of intense, and they're really hyping the April 8th one. I wonder why. I mean, we need, 2 years planning, National Guard, and all kinds of stuff for, eclipse watchers. Just anyway, be mindful and pay attention. And this dovetails exactly with what is going on. We can see that just a couple of days ago, the sun was what's the word I want? Cazimi. It was conjunct, but right in the heart of the sun. Neptune was right in the heart of the sun. See Neptune here, 27 Pisces, and here we have it 0 Aries. So a couple days ago, 2.5 days ago, when the sun was Sunday, the sun was right going, or I should say Neptune was going, transiting over the sun. It looks like the sun moving, but anyway, so I mean, how do I say it? The effect that we have from that is very profound. It's confusing. It's dreamy. It's dream oriented. It's expansive, and it just kind of goes in with all of these these planets that are hanging out there in Pisces. So as the sun, from our perspective, goes across that spot, it makes Neptune look like it's going in through the heart of the sun. It fuses. It combines as to one. So it's illuminating. Maybe it can be illuminating some confusion. Maybe it can be lighting up the fact that there is confusion and that there is trickery. It's not going to, so to speak, get rid of it or illuminate it, I don't think, to a point where it's going to go away, but it's going to eliminate the fact that it exists. And this will go on in waves in the future as we have more of these planets, finishing up and then moving through and then on out of Pisces, because we'll have Mars soon too. It's like 27 Aquarius. It will then go into Pisces, when well, it's going to be a little while. The sun just moved out. Neptune won't move out for a while. Saturn and Neptune move out together in what is it, like either the very like right at the beginning, what did we say, it was February 2026 they move in together. But we'll see this anyway. Venus will move out first, as we move on into later in the spring. But to me, this is highlighting this Neptunian area, because Pisces, even though it's Jupiter ruled, its modern ruler is Neptune, but it's enhancing that expansive quality, whether we look at Jupiter or Neptune, um, Jupiter being the traditional ruler, but Jupiter is still inside it's inside of Saturn, so it will expand until it reaches Saturn, and then it won't expand anymore. But Neptune is on the other side of Saturn, so it will keep expanding. So there's where we get that expansiveness no matter which way we roll the ruler on that. Okay, so what does that mean? That means it could be confusing. Things could be misrepresented, not, things are impartial. You don't know the whole truth. You don't know the whole scene. Maybe you're naive about something or not fully informed, however you want to say it, and then having more exact aspects and certain ones to you would make it more specific. But this being mundane, this is this is how it's affecting everyone. And again, if this is highlighting something in your chart, you would have to, that's the deal breaker. It's like it's either kind of mild, if it's not aspecting anything, or it's a humdinger if it is. So that's we step into the equinox, and this time of year, equal day, either moving into longer days in the northern hemisphere or into shorter days in the southern hemisphere, moving into fall or into autumn. All right, so that's our debang today, and let me move ahead in some hours here, and let's just get the sun back up around here, and then just easier to see, and then we'll go by the days. All right, so as we're coming into Wednesday, let me get it, actually, hold on. Let me get it a little bit more into the afternoon, get it right along the top here, okay. Kind of like midday, it kind of gets it in the middle of the day as we move through. So Wednesday, we've got Moon still in Leo, that nice, boastful, pleasantly arrogant, royal, regal, attention-getting, fun. I'm the bonfire, everybody dance around me, kind of energy. I am the light of the fire. I come into the room and everybody notices, sort of Leonine energy, however it plays out for you. It's like we got that nice little bright 2.5 days as we come into the equinox. I think it's perfect. We're coming, with, at least in the northern hemisphere, into that greater light, or that fire energy. In the southern hemisphere, you're dealing still with the light issue, but it's starting to click less. So it's still a light issue we have here. All right, anything else? Oh, don't get it. I don't have it here because it clutters up a lot, but Mercury is conjunct Chiron. Chiron is over here. I think it's at 15 degrees. Yeah. And then we have the North Node. So Mercury just went over the North Node, bringing more communication to moving into that direction of your Dharma Karma, more into that area of where we're going. And, in the financial realm, we're starting to sink to the lowest part. When we, when the North Node moves into Aries, that's the beginning of the downfall. It's like the 7th house, it's setting. So on the financial level, that will be like, if it's over here, imagine that will be on the beginning of our whole 7-year downfall of the financial market. And then at that time, it will then, next 7 years, so it will start to go back up. So 14 years from now, we'll kind of be at that equinox point, with the nodes in the financial market. So just heed that warning from little thing there with much proven North Node moving into Aries. Financial markets start to go down. So Chiron there, the wounded healer, right into this little spot here, kind of highlighting this little area and energy. We've got energy being put into something, a new kind of, to me, Aries energies is, it's very initiative. It's the spark. it's the creative juice, it's the let's go, let's do it. We don't know how, let's just do it. We got to make a decision, do it. So that's the energy that we're imbibing. All right, Wednesday, we've got not a ton of aspects now, but we've got a few important events that we're leading up to. So Thursday, we have Venus in conjunction to Saturn. So here's the downer. It's like, try not to be, at least for this day, too down about it. It's get serious about things, but it's like you might feel, especially if you have things aspecting this or 12 degrees, or if it's squared, some of that, or your sun is involved or your moon is involved. But anyway, it's like in the pursuit of pleasure or something that we want, we go, is it really worth it? Do I really want to put out all this energy? Do I want to do this? Is it worth it? I don't know. That's kind of the tendency for that effect that Saturn will have on that nice Venusian energy. So be careful that it's not too much of a Debbie-downer. Maybe just withhold a lot of excess dramatizing and extra feelings in a negative way about something that is coming up for you. Hold off, give it a day for Venus to go past, at least a day or two to kind of simmer down before you're getting into too much depression about whatever it is. Any disillusionment or disappointment, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, it's not working for me. The Eight of Swords, it's the victim card. We don't want to be into that kind of crap. So it's like, it's really just kind of look at, where do you fall short of your dreams, and how can we shore it up? How can we do this? So the real way to do this, and I thought this was really good, I'll mention it in a minute, but it's to feel grateful versus feeling bad for what we don't have. I saw a really good interview with Elon Musk and Don Lemon, and I like, it's like, instead of keep haranguing on a certain point, not that you can't acknowledge something, but it's like, let's not just keep prolonging a bad thing. It's like, okay, I smell it, but now what? Let's clean it up. Let's not keep picking at this wound. Let's just move past it in a better behavior. So it's like, okay, we touch on it. It's like, yes, I acknowledge, but let's not keep doing this. Let's be grateful for what we have, and let's feel that bond, or let's feel grateful versus feeling bad for what we don't have. So really watch that, and this will give you a chance to maybe practice some of that. As you get the Debbie Downer, click into the grateful mode. This is practice. This is what we need to do. This is our spiritual lessons. This is our spiritual cleanup as we have Neptune inching ever out of Pisces. We're still in this web here, and it's going to go, and I know we talked about this, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, it's going to go all the way to the end, almost to the end. It's going to go 29 degrees, like 56 or 57 minutes before it goes retrograde. So it's not going to go out of Pisces yet. It's like, and then that's a critical degree, an anaretic degree, where 29 is just it's so wanting to be like the next sign. It's just there, and it's like being steeped in this confusion or this Neptunian dream. So it's gonna like plague us a little while, and it's not gonna go out of there for, oh gosh, I think it's like near the I think it's like beginning of 2025, I think. But anyway, it's that crazy spot. And when Saturn, yeah, we did talk about this last week, Saturn will progress. So you can see what's going to happen. So Neptune, the outer planets are retrograde like 5 months out of the year. So we're going to see Neptune go back to about where it is now. It's going to go all the way to 29, and then it's going to like retrograde back to like 26. And then it's going to start going again. And by that time, Saturn will be later, in its degrees in Pisces, and they will conjunct at the, they'll be conjuncting at the end of Pisces and then walk into Aries together. So this is, this is so different, going from Pisces to Aries. So this is like on a big scheme, we really have to clean this stuff up, within ourselves. It's like, don't get into the negative behavior of, I don't have this and I don't have that. It's like, okay, acknowledge it. Yep, you didn't get to do that and you didn't get to do that. But what did you get to do? What do you have? What are your strong points? How can you move it forward? You might have to squeeze a little blood out of it, sort of. You might have to whine and touch it a little bit, to acknowledge it, because it's not going to go away. And I'm not saying to sweep it under the carpet. Don't dwell on it. It's like, okay, so you didn't get to do this and that, and you don't have that. But, okay, put something more powerful in the brain. What do you have? It's like, well, I got this. Okay. And I got that. All right. Remember that old adage about stone soup? It's kind of like, somebody can bring something. It's like, well, I got the broth, I got an onion, I got a piece of potato, I got a carrot, I got some broccoli. No, you stay home, broccoli. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm saying? It just keeps getting more yummy the more things get brought in. But by itself, it's not good. So this is kind of like all sort of preparatory work. It's not a real busy time, but it's deep. It's sort of impacting. And then, is that all on Thursday? Yeah. We get our Virgo moon. Let me see, where is it? There we go. So our moon went into Virgo, and being an Aries, I've always had kind of, it's in conjuncture, it quincunx to me. So I've always had a hard time dealing with it. I want to go, let's go, let's do it. But then, Virgo's like, well, did you get gas? And did you shut the burner off? And are the doors locked? And do you have money? And do you have the map? And do you know where we're going? It's like, by that time, I'm like, I'm gone. I'm like, oh man, now you talk me out of it. Now I'm in a bad mood because of all these things, you ruin the spontaneity. But over the years, it's like going off, it's like, and then running out of gas, or not having some bringing water. I'm like, oh crap, So I've learned to put in those Virgo things, and that's the whole part of like learning to use and understand astrology. You learn to put in those weak points, or those opposite points, or those points that are not easy to do, but necessary. It doesn't have to be a downer. It's like I can still be spontaneous Aries, but now I'm like, I've already got my fanny pack, organized. I've got my, I can grab a drink real quick. Anyway, I'm much more organized and can be spontaneous and be relaxed in it. Maybe, wisdom with age, but nonetheless, use these times of the month. We get it once a month, the Virgo moon. It's instead of being worrying about everything, it's like that driving energy of feeling, can be putting things in order. You work it out in your head. It's kind of like meditation. You do meditation first, and then your whole day goes much better. You just seek nothingness at first, and just like, all right, I'm in your hands, God. It's just I'm putty. I'm just here. However you can be here, however you can get still. It may not be for very long. We're not judging that. It's just the fact that you're breathing, or you're taking some time to still the mind, and everything else gets organized. So I think that's a big part of this Pisces moving into Aries. It's like, you've got to get that still point and get that organization in your spiritual body before the physical body can really jump in and do a good job. So yeah, use this good Virgo moon. And it's going to be making oppositions to all this Pisces stuff. We can see it here. It's 1 in the afternoon East Coast time, and you see it's 4 degrees. It's later in the afternoon there. It's going to start to oppose Saturn, and then it'll oppose Venus, and then probably by the next morning it'll oppose Neptune. So the moon, just get busy, just stay busy. Don't get like all nitpicky about things, but just use that as a constructive busyness mode. And again, not that hyper discriminatory nag, but the constant reminder of putting things in nice order. Something like that. All right, Saturday. I love Saturdays. Well, whoops, Friday. I knew there was something else. I'm trying to go by my notes. There's so much to talk about. Mars enters Pisces. I knew there was another. I have my thing here like Pisces underlined, highlighted. So now we got Mars joining the pack. It's like, okay, Sun went out, now Mars comes in. It's just like a little more reminder, of more of this Piscean energy. It's like, oh, we're not done yet. Like reminds me of Monty Python. Is he dead yet? No, he's not dead yet. Bonk. Anyway, it's like we're not done with this confusion yet, and it's like the fog rolls back in. The big foghorn. It's like, oh shoot, I cleared up a little bit. But however, Mars, it doesn't know where to go. The warrior's like here in misty, disillusioned Pisces. So when you don't know where to go on the outside, where is the only other place you can go? I hope you're thinking on the inside or going within. So use that energy of Mars to again, we're clearing up this stuff in the fog. Use other sight. You can't see, so hear, listen, feel. You have other sights, or I mean, not sights. You have other senses other than sight. Have that inner, that Mars energy, that water, that dissolving energy. Put that into intuition. Put it into cleaning up your electromagnetic fields. Excuse me. That's impending on maybe getting clear information. Turn off your Wi-Fi devices and hardwire your stuff in. Don't have your cell phone on all the time. Put it in airplane. Get rid of a lot of the electromagnetic pollution that's on around you, especially when you're in a quiet mode or trying to meditate or study or pull in spirituality. If you've got, with all these electromagnetic devices, they're like radio stations off the station, but turned on loud. It's like, get in there, was a bulldog. So it's like, it's just annoying. And it's like several of those on your nervous system. And it's really hard to be clear and consistent. I should say consistently clear with a lot of the electromagnetic disturbances. And it's a big deal because we can't see it. It's an invisible poison. It's like when nuclear energy came on the scene, or radar. We couldn't see it. We didn't know the effects of like radiation on people. Ask some of the earlier people that delved in it that got cancer. Didn't they thought they were immune. Like, oh, we can handle this. Madame Curie. Anyway, these are electromagnetic disturbances. It's like a microwave. You wouldn't think of putting your head in a running microwave, but you put your head up to a microwave one every day. It's called a cell phone, and you have it by you. You put it in your pocket with it on. I've seen a lot of problems with testicles, testicular problems, people doing that, hip problems, bone loss, tumors, putting it in the bra. It's there, it's documented, and I've seen it myself in my day job. But anyway, more of this, dealing with this Pisces energy. So dealing with the electromagnetic stuff. Unplug your Wi-Fi at night, at least. My thing is hardwired in. It's safer, faster. But anyway. So anyway, we can see here Mars, just, use that, and we've got it for a while, Mars is going to do that. So we've got that Piscean energy, and I say use it smartly. All right, Sunday. That I want to show you for there. Yes, Sunday. Okay, Saturday with Virgo. And we talked about the Mars and the Moon. It's going to be opposing all that. So we talked about that. Oh, but in the same time, the Moon, as it's going through Virgo, it's going to be trining Jupiter and Uranus. You can see, it's like here at 28, but just a little bit earlier, it went, when it was 15, it trined Jupiter, and then at 20, it trined Uranus. So we could have some, I guess, kind of using it and making like little lists. Okay, this is good for me. This is not good for me. This is healthy. This is not healthy. This is a humane interest. This is not humane. This is for humanity. This is not for humanity. This is a right way to talk to somebody. This is a wrong way to talk to somebody. Having, using that Virgo discrimination to kind of weed through things out in your own psyche. You're doing your own dark work. That's what we have to do while, we have Neptune hanging out at the end of Pisces before it pops into Aries, because it's going to be radically different. when those two planets, when Saturn and Neptune move into Aries together, it's going to be a big change. It's going to be like a day and night. Pisces to Aries is a pretty radical change. Some signs are just so completely opposite one another, and that's one of them. That's just such a real different one, from just diffuse to, to space out to now do it, boom, spark. So it's really different, and I think it's important to just emphasize doing our shadow work, going in, clearing out stuff in our psyches, in our minds, in our deepest recesses. All right, and coming into Monday as our first of the eclipses here this year, we have our full moon, our lunar eclipse at 5. We got to move it back a little bit. 5 Libra. Let's get the. Oh, we go by hours. Too much. Get 5 Libra. It's early. Yeah. Early morning. Sun down there. There it is. Pretty close. Can you go a little bit more? There. I think. Yeah, that's good. All right. We'll leave it on here because we'll be back next week. So here we see the opposition, the full moon. We can keep it straight because the sun and moon are opposite. The light of the sun is opposing the moon. It lights up the moon. It's full. So, and look, it is close to that node. Whenever they're close to there, we have the eclipses. This is an interesting one. The things I wanted to tell you. The event itself, if we look at how far away Venus is, it's like a square and a half. See, it's 16 degrees. This is 5. It's like it's more than 30. It's almost like it's like 40 something. And then the sun over to Jupiter is let's see, we got 1 to 5. Yeah, it's like a square and a half again. So it's kind of in the middle of that kind of a, definitely with this, we have that Venus energy there. I'm sorry, Mars energy is what I want to point out more. But we've got this square and a half with the sun kind of in the middle there. And it's a bit, we're bringing in the outer parts there of some of that, how do I want to say it? That slightly disparaging or slightly off kilter kind of energy, but it's got, because there's a nice little, a sextile between Venus and Jupiter. See, it's like one is at 16 of a feminine sign and the other's at 15 of a feminine sign, with a male sign in the middle. We've got a nice, as this eclipse is happening, we've got this nice little benefic, is really kind of what I'm pointing out. I don't know if I went roundabout. So it's got a nice thing, but then it's also got kind of like, we've got a Mars, kind of it's a semi-sextile. Mars is 30 degrees away from Pluto, and this is like your next door neighbor. Good fences make good neighbors, right here. They're so different, so it's just maybe a little annoying. Mars is wanting to do one thing, and then, Pluto's doing something else. And then Mars over to the sun, also kind of that same kind of a degree, a little annoying there. But all in all, I think the eclipse is definitely an interesting one. It's going to highlight relationships, as we have the moon, near the south node, and then bringing things from the past. After it eclipses, then it'll go over to the south node. But being in Libra, we've got others, consideration of others, versus the sun, me, and Aries. So my first part of the year, I've been waiting, but then there's everybody else. That's, I think, a little bit about the hard part of this eclipse, is that balance. I mean, it's always that, but we've got the signs of Aries in Libra, which is always that little bit of a fight of me and thee. Me and we. There it is, me and we. Sometimes we turns into thee, thou. But yeah, there's our little bit of our push-pull. with that little bit of the, the semi squares with that are kind of making it a little edgy, but there's so much we could micro in, and the reason I just mentioned it was just because I like the sextile between Venus and Jupiter, and then we have the north node. Actually, that's what as the sun gets closer to the north node is like right in that midpoint between them. So that's that karma that's kind of around the nodal spot, where that's being highlighted. So back to the shadow work, just another little thing. And the reason I just kind of zoned in for that was, we have that it's like between that space. It wants to move forward, but we have stuff from the past to clear up before we can be solid in the future here, with these planets in Taurus. So just a little bit of that, it's just like making sure you feel good about something by putting some order in and getting rid of stuff we don't need. Emotional baggage, just stuff you don't need, excess stuff. We have too much stuff and it's clutter, and it's like not only clutter in your space, it's clutter in your mind. So purging, spring cleaning, moving some of this out and processing it out as we're going through it, because it's all of the same theme. It's like get to the root of the cause and get rid of it. Touch those old emotions that were crappy, acknowledge it, and move them forward. Be thankful for parts of that lesson and don't dwell on the bad parts. Look at the good parts, and your brain will, your psyche starts to move it in order. All right, I guess that's it for today. We will talk about the rest of the month and coming into April next time. But no, we're coming into Mercury retrograde. I believe it's the 1st. You can see it's flying here. Let's just real quick give you that, and then we'll end it for today. Let's just see when it actually. We already did. No, let's see where it's up. Yeah, April 1st. That went too fast. There's station. Yeah, station. And then the next day it'll go retrograde. It's stationed. All right. Goes to 27 Aries. Wow, then it goes back to Aries. So we have the effect of communication in Aries, initiating communications. New, we got that degree being highlighted. It's, the later degrees of Aries with Mercury there. So use it wisely, use it good. It's the energy of communication, Mercury, computers, the internet, fast, and Aries, it's impulsive, it's aggressive. So be careful, and then be careful of aggressive speech. You can speak abruptly and truthfully without a lot of drama, but be careful that it's not too short. All right, that's all for today. Bye for now. Thanks for listening.